Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1441. Correct. December 9th, 2024. 58 degrees on this day, and the hot streak we mentioned Friday, all of these highs were occurring in 1939. It was 27 below on this day in 1876. And on this day, in 2012, almost 11 inches of snow.
Oh. Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
It's the annual. Join me. Look who's here. Pat Donohue, Stephen C., Mrs. Stephen C., Jillian. Well, I said Mrs. Stephen C. because I don't know how, where are we in the world of feminism? Does Jillian have her own last name?
Oh, she went with Anderson.
Really? Jillian
Clever.
Anderson.
Very
That's
clever.
fantastic. And John Haidt's on his guitar back in his music studio, and this is always one of my favorite shows when the best musicians in the world come in and we play Christmas music.
And who's sitting to your left?
Pat Donohue.
Okay.
I said that already.
Oh, I missed that
Yeah.
part.
And what about me? Am I chopped liver? I'm singing. I was brought into to this pony show to do backup vocals.
No,
And
you're
I
going to
don't-
get the Barney Fife microphone.
Is that the one that you turn it off or it's empty?
That's right.
Kinda like me sometimes.
Whatever, you want to start with some blues in Christmas, or you guys call the shots, or what are we going to do? Stephen C., tell us about the cathedral first.
Well, I can't believe this, but we're back for the 8th time.
Isn't that
We used to
fantastic?
do one show. Last year we somehow pulled off two. Get this, 3 shows this
Three
year.
shows,
Third-
three shows.
Thursday, Friday, 7 o'clock, and a very new matinee on Saturday. Kind of like a
really?
coffee concert at 11
Really?
a.m., so we have to get up early for
Oh,
us
fantastic.
musicians. We have
Jillian will be there.
Jillian will be there.
Stephen C. will be there. Patrick's join you. Mr. Donahue.
Yes, sir.
Who
Featured,
else?
Jack Cassidy,
All
Chris
right.
Gonza on organ. We have children's choir. Like, you know, like they say, like organs, we're pulling out all the stops.
Are you going to have your prized piano delivered?
It is making yet another trip, and just for those people who watched this before, I still have a bum injured leg that's held on with a C-clamp, and the padding is the Garage Logic hat.
Really?
On the piano.
Really?
Yeah, on the piano. So we've yet to find the part to repair this.
For a moment, I thought you were talking about yourself there. But
The piano.
It was the
An
piano.
injured bad leg.
And you called Laurel and Hardy piano movers, right? Is that what it is?
Why don't you just go around to the alley?
You need some garage wood is what you need.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
kick it
just
off
pick it
for
up.
us. You guys are the best in the business. These are the GL minstrels, by the way. I mean, that's the way to look at it.
Oh, Stephen's show is all goodness and light.
Yeah.
Comfort and
But
joy.
this is my own song, and it's about the other side of Christmas.
All right.
Good. I like the dark side.
There's a wreath on every door, on every house in my neighbor. I mean neighbor, doggone hood. There's a wreath on every door, on every house in my neighborhood. Christmas time is coming on. It don't mean me no good. Well, they sing God rest ye, merry gentle. I mean gentle, doggone men. Well, they sing God rest ye, merry gentlemen. You think you're gonna rest at Christmas, but you better think again. Oh, there's a tree on my floor and some lights on my window. I mean a window, doggone pane. There's a tree on my floor and some lights on my window pane. And these Christmas blues just running through my brain. And I don't know why it makes me feel so, feel so doggone bad. I don't know why. Makes me feel so sad. Oh, just to thinking about the good times that I once having. Well, if I was a psychiatrist and had me a PH, I mean a PH doggone D. If I was a psychiatrist and had me a PhD.
Now that's fantastic, but now that won't be played at the cathedral,
Correct.
I imagine.
It's great to start with something we're not playing. I love it.
Yeah.
And much like
You got
that
them.
song not
You
being
hooked 'em.
played at the cathedral, Joe won't be there to play drums, correct?
Well,
There's no
maybe.
kit there, is there?
We'll get you one.
Nah, yeah. We'd have
gotta
to do
think.
Careful what you wish for.
We'd have to do a lot of practicing.
Yeah,
lot of practicing.
And there's 8 seconds of reverb there, so those drums would be big. Like
Wouldn't that
Led
sound
Zeppelin.
wonderful? Whoa. All right, now Stephen C's got his portable piano. It's always a treat. He's also got his Christmas sweater on.
Well, we're trying to be festive and piano-y.
Right. Okay, now...
That's
now,
straight out of Rookie's closet. That's a 100%
I
a
already
shirt Rookie would
complimented
wear.
him on it, and
Yeah.
I want to know where to get it.
Light in the box.
Okay, got it.
All right, take over, Stephen C.
Well, this is for my my favorite drummer, little drummer boy. This will be at the cathedral.
All
A
right.
little taste of this one.
All right. Oh,
That'll be at the
just wonderful.
With the
Will
drums.
will there be singing?
There will be. We have 4 vocalists, a lot of harmony singing. We have some children that are joining in on some really cool pieces, like, Silent Night and different
Is
things.
Jillian a singer?
Well, yeah.
Will she favor us with the tune today?
I think we could try to sneak it in. I mean,
Oh, I'd love that. I'd
maybe a
love
little-
that.
A little White Christmas, maybe? I mean, we need a White Christmas, don't we, or something?
Oh, we'll get one.
We don't want
We'll
too
get
much
one.
of a White Christmas.
This is unrehearsed, but we're going to try a little White Christmas.
All right.
I love it when we tell everyone it's unrehearsed.
Yeah.
Don't figure that out.
Just go like this, okay? So it's going to be good.
Setting up the laws.
Yes, right.
Dreaming of a white Christmas. With every Christmas card I write. When the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Ladies and gentlemen, they'll begin a 3-day run at the Knack Hardware and Lounge on December 22nd. So it'll be the 22nd, 23rd, and the 24th, just in the afternoon, So all the people in Garage Logic can get back home in
Day
time,
drinking.
in time for
No.
Christmas Eve.
Eggnog.
I had a nice scene going there, and I
No. Schnapps. Lots of schnapps.
You know, it's interesting, Joe. Stephen, you mentioned you've added, so it's 3 shows this year. We get to take credit for that, right?
I think so.
I think we get to take credit for
It's
that.
jealous.
think
We
so.
filled it up last year.
Fantastic.
And they said, could you do 3 shows? And we all went, sure. And then we went, what are we going to do?
What are we doing?
Did you all start very young? Stephen, did you start playing the piano very young?
Age 7, and it was terrible. And I told my mom I'm going to be a baseball player, and we know how that went. But
Yeah.
anyways, it was starting young, but it didn't really catch on until like high school because I was in a rock band with like big hair, and
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah.
What was the name of your band?
Ground control.
World's ass today. Major
Sweet.
Tom, where are you?
Sweet.
Patrick, did you start very young?
Yeah, I started. I started like you, Joe. I was a drummer,
Yeah.
and
And he got smart.
yes. Well, my older sister had a guitar, and I wasn't supposed to touch it at all.
Right.
So whenever she left the house, I
Right.
touched it. And
Oh, that's the Van Halen boys. That's
Yeah.
their story.
is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when you guys were young and other kids were outside on a summer day, were you the guys inside playing if somebody went for a walk and they heard music coming from somebody's house? Were
Very
you,
possible.
You were the guy inside practicing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, okay.
in fact, they held playing with the friends outside until you got through your piano pieces.
Okay.
So I'm like,
I just went to his high school reunion, and everyone was so excited to tell me that they had to wait outside Steve's house for him to be done practicing piano before he could come out and play with them.
Really?
true story.
Yeah, it's true.
You went to high school locally, didn't you?
St. Louis Park, yeah.
That's right. All right. What else are you going to do for us today? Now that we're in
You
sort
know,
of the Knack Hardware and Lounge,
gonna-
but not for the regular performance, which will be the 22nd, 3rd, and 4th of December.
Correct. I think we're going to do, in the cathedral when we have the lights there and it's Christmas and the sound, there's an 8-second reverb there. So one piece that I enjoy playing that we'll do just a little bit of, and I encourage my guitar guys to flavor it in G minor, of course, is a little Carol of the Bell.
All right.
Because when these notes hit, they just soar around the cathedral
cool.
for 8 seconds. And so
Okay.
a little
G, John.
Yeah, G minor.
G minor, Joe. Yeah.
G minor.
Not really.
It's
G.
one of the G's.
Not really G.
Yeah. It's a G part.
Let's have some guitar fills.
I can imagine what that 8 seconds must be like.
It's fun.
And they dim the lights, I hope.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, you're-
It's a mood.
Where do you set up, on the altar or in
Yeah,
front
and
of
I'm
it?
still always just amazed that they'll move the altar and just put my piano right front and center there and say, put on a concert.
Wow.
You got to be good for them to do that. So that's a
Is
compliment.
Are you playing to a full house?
It has been
Yeah.
a couple thousand people, and I don't have that many friends. So
What's the
The tickets are on Eventbrite.
yeah, Eventbrite or the Cathedral Heritage Foundation
Yeah.
website.
what's the backstage catering situation? Do we have crafts and services?
It's quite the special room. We have our catering department there, the jelly beans, the green, everything.
Got to
We have-
separate.
Yeah.
We have the spring water. It's got to be right.
Yeah.
My
There's
group's
some
touchy.
unleavened bread back there. And
Right.
Wine.
Say, I want GLers to put this telephone number in their contacts. It's for Precision Door MN. They're going to take care of the garage door and put in a new one if you need a new garage door. They send out a designer. The consultation is free. They have models for every budget, but the GLers have weighed in, and these guys are the best. And you need a garage door guy. Precision Door, 612-263-6985. They serve western Wisconsin, the metro area. They don't charge more for weekends, and if you need a new door, they send out a designer, and as I say, models for every budget. They're really the best in the game. If you want to go online, you can do so and book your appointment at Precision Door MN. That's one word, precisiondoormn.com. Do you realize that? Do you realize? Don't we have 2 Grammy? You won a Grammy, Stephen.
No, not yet.
I thought you
It's
did.
on the
But
list.
Patrick, you've won a Grammy.
I did. That was an album of Henry Mancini solo guitar pieces. And
Okay.
it won, what was it, 2004, the Instrumental Pop Album of the Year.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Stephen C., I guess I've just given you a Grammy.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
There. And
Ask him if he's won a Marconi.
have you won a Marconi?
No, not yet.
I've heard about this. It's on. It'll
Quite a
happen.
few seconds.
It'll
Got
happen.
a lot of second places.
Can I interject for just a minute here because I'm the guitar geek?
Sure.
But what I know, all you guys think the guys that go are great.
Yeah.
But what Pat just did to me is 1,000 times harder, better, more soulful than any of the guys that go.
Where the
Why?
guitar came
Why?
in, where the guitar came in right there at the
That
end.
was really cool.
Yeah,
The
that
whole,
was
the whole thing. I mean, even the beginning where it's just a ballad where he's playing the melody and the chords and the bass. And,
Listen to this sycophant. kiss
no,
it up.
I'm totally serious. Totally,
So
totally serious.
related
That's
related
much
to
better.
that too is I listen to it going, I'm not going to play anything. And
Yeah,
I think there's you get to
exactly.
a certain point, it's like, no, and I enjoy being in concert, not playing at all. It's kind of fun. And we actually have recorded that version on a Christmas Together little
Oh, cool.
thing that's out there in the streams. And so
Now
look us
streaming,
up. Now streaming.
Wherever you consume music.
How do you do it,
Christmas-
Stephen C?
Christmas Together by Stephen C.
Easy.
Featuring
There you go.
Google it.
I'll put it as a
God
link
Rest
on the
You
show
by
page
Pat
today.
Donohue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you bet.
put it on. Get it right there. Get it right, Reavers.
Got it, boss.
Yeah. Now you're both working frequently, and I think you've reached a stage where you pretty much work when you want to.
Yeah, but I think we want to all the time. So it's been kind of busy, a lot of church work, and every once in a while I get to sit in at the Midway. Pat, you should tell them about the ongoing gig you have there.
I've seen
it.
Patrick at the Midway.
Joe's
It's
been down
fantastic.
there,
Yeah.
at the Midway Saloon in St. Paul. It's at the fantastic intersection of Snelling and University.
Fantastic.
It's where it's all going down.
Festive, right? It's a very festive intersection.
Festive is a big,
At least
yeah.
it's early, though. It's early, so.
No, it's really fun. It's Wednesday nights from 6 to 8.
And how's the ticket price on that?
It's very reasonable. It's $0.
Yeah, it's
And
free.
for $0.
Is it one of those places where you got to have a drink in your hand at all times?
They won't mind if you buy a drink.
Gotcha.
They wouldn't mind at all. Right?
Right. Oh, I've seen it. It's wonderful, but it doesn't hold that many people. You got to get there.
No, you do. It's a smaller place sometimes than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Is
But
there a
it's-
downtime for you guys? Since
Maybe January will be a little quieter.
okay,
But then, maybe we'll end up at the Midway. And one of my favorite things is playing songs that I don't know.
There's a
And
lot
I
of
just,
that.
I just
down
kind of
there.
look at Pat and go, okay.
But Pat, when you're at the Midway, are you always accompanied by the band?
No, I have luckily I have a bunch of friends who are really good musicians, and so Pat Donohue and Friends is the name of the show, and there's a different couple of friends every week.
Just whoever shows up?
No, whoever I ask to show up. usually.
Okay.
And
The
Steven's been
gatekeeper.
down there a number of times. Jill sang with me, and I have a friend named Garrison Keeler who's coming
Right.
into town this week
Oh,
to do
really?
some shows at the Fitz. He might stop by tomorrow. I don't know. I can't say. for
Nice.
sure, but-
Oh, that
One of
well,
my
no,
favorite
tomorrow's
shows
Tuesday.
was when Garrison
What's that?
was on.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Oh, sorry, Wednesday night.
He might show up Wednesday
Our
night.
friend PK Mayo on occasion, Paul Masich.
Oh, yeah,
plays
we
with
play together
Pat.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
Really?
wonderful player. Yep.
Really?
Yeah, he's great.
is he a monster in your estimation, John?
Yeah, he's a monster.
Okay.
I'd put him in the monster.
Would you slap him for me, Stephen?
Well, if I see GK at the airport, I'll
How do you
see if
get
I can
to
bring him on the
monster?
show.
We had a wonderful interview with Garrison Keeler after years and years and years of
Yeah.
not knowing each other.
I heard that.
And there was some imaginary.
Well, you finally apologized to him.
I didn't have any reason
Climbing
to
in his
apologize
windows.
for him. I did not do that, and I think we straightened that
Thought
out.
that
But
was- maybe I
it was
remember
really
wrong.
interesting to talk to him. Now, if he shows up, for example, would he join you?
Yeah, he'll come up and sing some songs and tell a few stories. And
Yeah.
Whatever he decides to do, I'll just,
That's
Do a
wonderful.
couple
Work it
powder
in.
milk biscuit spots.
We never rehearse anything, so we would, we shouldn't rehearse that.
Did
either.
you travel with that show for a long time?
Yeah, about 20 years.
Right. That's a lot of road time.
What
It was,
years?
yeah. Between about 93 and
Oh, okay.
2013.
That was well after my grand.
Yeah, I did play with Red a couple of times at the beginning, though.
Oh, okay.
Because I was on a couple times before that.
Got it.
I remember Red, yeah.
I was walking down Summit Avenue in the winter one time. I've told this story right by Stephen's
This is
house.
like you're on your way to Keeler's house.
Well, I was headed that direction,
Okay, see?
and a young woman came up to me and said, "Do you know where Garrison Keeler lives?" I have this peculiar attraction to people who always ask me for directions when I'm out walking, and I
It makes you feel wanted, right?
not really. And
You said, "Yeah, I'll show you. I'm going right through
yeah,
his window
it's
right
exactly what I said.
now. Come on,
No, I'm-
follow me in. I'm going right into his house."
No, I pointed yonder, and it's that big Weyerhaeuser house, and I said he lives right there. And she said, "Well, I'm in town. I want to sing for him. I want to sing on his show." And apparently, maybe she did. I don't know the follow up, but I said, "You be careful. He's a mean old bear." and she said, "That doesn't bother me." And the last I saw, she was walking up to the door to knock on the door. For all I know, she's now a country star. I have no idea.
How did you
who
not?
it was?
You should have hid behind a tree and
Yeah.
watched it play out.
Yeah.
I have seen that happen, though.
Yeah, people want to.
yeah.
Yeah. Now I can't think of who it might have been. Was he in the business of debuting artists?
Not really officially, but I think a lot of artists felt that if they got on his show, that there would be big exposure for
Right.
them.
It was a
Right.
break, yeah, for sure.
Can you do another one for us before we send you off?
I think we have to do a wonderful Christmas song. It will be at the Cathedral Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this is one that I kind of wish I would have wrote. Let's see if we know it.
All right. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
Dang, damn it.
Hello.
Yeah. Just knowing not to like this song.
Vince Guaraldi.
Yep.
You know, that came out in 1965.
Wow.
Why? And that isn't that long ago in the cosmic scheme of things. Why is that so hauntingly memorable? Why does that song have such legs, I wonder?
I think the chord progression is actually pretty cool. To
Yeah.
go from this chord to that chord.
Incredibly cool. Yeah.
That chord right there.
And then the bridge chords are like, it's not like country music where it's 3 chords and the truth. I mean, this is
3 chords and the truth?
that's country, yeah.
10 chords and a vague idea.
And a vague idea.
Clueless in St. Paul.
3 chords and the truth. I like that.
I have a question for Pat. Pat, have of all the people you've played with through your career, who's the most memorable, or the one where you're on stage, you were saying to yourself, I can't believe I'm playing with this artist? Is there one artist that fits that bill?
There'd be a few, but I think for me, the top one would be Chet Atkins. He
Yeah.
was a big hero of mine, and I played with him quite a bit.
Yeah, and he's a big fan of yours.
Well, he said he was nice enough to say he was in print. So, yeah, that would be my favorite. But Mark Knopfler was another one.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, I'm going to forget some names now. But
Any chance you ever made it on stage with Bob? With Dylan?
oh no, I've never met Bob Dylan. No.
How in the hell did you get on stage with Mark Knopfler?
He was a guest on a Prairie Home Companion.
Oh, for Pete's
several
sake.
times.
He was a big running buddy of Chet and Garrison Keillor for a while, Joe.
Oh, I did not know that.
He and Chet, did a ton of stuff together, and Pat obviously was well acquainted with Chet. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Chet paid my grandpa the most wonderful compliment. He said, nobody kept better time than Red Maddock.
Well, that is a big
nice.
compliment.
That was- I mean,
Because Chet was a
pretty-
stickler for
What the
time
hell
and
happened
rhythm,
with
yeah.
you?
He gave me drum lessons, and I
How'd
just
that work
bailed
out?
Now, about 3 of them. I left. He went to go smoke some pot behind his garage.
Tell Pat that story about the pot.
My oldest brother, Stephen, was doing some work around their house. They lived on Worcester and St. Paul Avenue. And he was cutting grass for him and stuff like that and doing some gardening. And my grandpa took him back behind the garage and said, I want you to cut all these, Steve. Cut everything. Cut all this stuff down. But don't cut this special garden patch down here. This is Grandpa's garden. You know, he had that rough voice like that. My brother was, 13 or 14. He knew exactly what it was. Grandpa's growing his own by the railroad tracks. Cut everything but these.
He's ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Cathedral. It'll be sold out. It's just a lovely, lovely show, and I can't thank you all enough for coming by.
You know, after the state fair thing, we were just lucky we got asked back. So this is good.
The state fair was wonderful,
Oh, that
too,
was
when you
fun.
came out. I consider you the house band for Garage Logic.
We'll take
Well,
it.
I'll take the gig.
All
sure.
right.
And what was the website again, if people want to search it? But I'm also going to include it as a link.
It's Stephen C. Music is my website. There's a lot of information there, but the new release out that's finally out for streaming is called Christmas Together.
Christmas Together. Okay, perfect.
And
which
then
is
for
the
tickets to
Cathedral.
the Cathedral, go to Eventbrite.
Yep. Just Google away
Yeah,
or
'cause they want
Cathedral
a count.
Heritage. Yeah, we need a count.
Right.
Yeah, because they'll have to have,
Actually, there's a small admission price this year, which he normally doesn't do, but proceeds go to the cathedral. And if there's anyone for whom that admission price makes it cost prohibitive to come, just write us on Steve's website, stevencmusic.com, and we will make sure you are with us this week.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
So Thursday, Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday at 11 a.m. with Stephen C., Pat Donohue, Jack Cassidy, Catherine Bidzine, Dr. Chris Ganza, and the Children's Choir from the Cathedral of St. Paul. And I think that's
That
it.
was all without cue cards.
I know.
There's a
I've
good
been
woman.
Nobody
waiting.
else in this room can do that. You know that, right?
I've just been waiting for my moment.
This one, you
There's a
shine.
Deliver
good
as
woman
much
behind every
content.
musician, isn't there?
That's for sure.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you
at the
very much.
cathedral.
The house band for Garage Logic.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
It's a lot of fun hearing from you GLers about the various things you use Seafoam Deep Creep for. Mike fixed something that I didn't know existed, a revolving flagpole. Evidently, the pole turns on itself so the flag never gets bound up.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Nice.
Yeah, and the thing stopped working, so Mike hosed that thing down with Deep Creep. Guess what? No more tangled flag. Another GLer revived zippers on a canvas cab for a side-by-side. I heard that, and you know what I did? I ran out to mine and dosed the zippers, and wow, that really works well. We've received a bunch of emails with before and after tool revivals, pliers, vice grips, crescent wrenches. Just soak it in Deep Creep for a day, hit it with the wire wheel, and wow, you've got a brand new tool. GLers, they use it cleaning firearms, fishing reels, something Such calls padlocks. I don't know what that is. I've heard of paddle locks.
No, it's a padlock.
But whatever it is, it works pretty good. I don't know. Who knows? Deep Creep, it loosens the rusty parts. It cleans, it protects metal, lubricates. He resists evaporation and extreme heat, and it does it better than any other product on the market. It's the GLer's best friend. And it's in the home, the shop. Keep it in your car. Keep it everywhere. Another fine product from our friends at Seafoam. It's called Deep Creep.
My flag, I flew my flag on Pearl Harbor Day Saturday, and it got tangled. Every once in a while, I'd walk out and flip her around, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I had never heard of those poles before.
Mine gets tangled in the brick. It touches the house.
Well,
I don't want it to be tattered. I won't have it tattered.
my thanks to the Garage Logic House Band, Pat Donohue and Stephen C., and Jillian's a nice accompaniment to the group.
Yeah,
She can
great
sing,
voice.
yeah.
Yeah, really good voice.
Well, yeah, and she wasn't even belting it out. You should hear her when she belts it
But
out.
if she was training at St. Agnes and stuff like that, they're like choir-wise, they're top drawer.
Well, they didn't just wander in off the street.
No, I know that. I'm just, it's, this is great.
I got a really, really great email. Oh, first of all, there's breaking news. Now, it's a podcast, so I suppose there's no such thing as
so if you're
breaking
listening to
news.
this in June,
Or you could be listening to it at 8 o'clock tonight. But the police have narrowed their hunt for the Thompson killer.
right?
Got a guy in what, Altoona, Pennsylvania?
Yep.
That
Yeah.
intrigues them.
Yeah.
He had a manifesto. I don't know if they've arrested him, but
He's
got
in for questioning. They
He's
have him
in for questioning.
Yes.
And they say he matches the description of the shooter. I can't believe the talk I've heard from people. I can't believe the revulsion that's been unleashed about the problems in healthcare since this guy was murdered. What's his first name? Brian Thompson.
Well, how so? What do you mean?
Well, for example, apparently there are people on the internet who have fancied themselves amateur sleuths.
Okay.
And they've apparently helped in the past with major crimes.
Yeah.
They've provided information.
Yeah.
None of them want to participate in this.
Yeah.
The horror stories about healthcare.
So wait, let me. I missed that. I didn't comprehend that. Say that again.
There are people who, for sport or for their own amusement, attempt to solve crimes on their internet type people, and then if they get something they think's valuable, they contact whatever law enforcement they need to. But what I've been reading is they don't want to participate in this. I know nothing again about Thompson. I know nothing.
What does that tell you, Joe?
It tells me that people are cheering for this murderer.
Why do you suppose they're doing that?
Because of the revulsion that people have for their own health care insurance experiences must be motivating them to be spiteful of this guy.
But wasn't his predecessor, Bill McGuire, he was always in the news for making a lot of money.
I don't know that was Bill McGuire at United Health?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's neither here nor there. My point is, most of the chatter I've heard from talking to people is that it's going to be found that he was either acting for himself or on behalf of someone who was denied coverage for some reason. Maybe a child denied experimental treatment, whatever.
Wow.
We don't know. We don't have a clue. It might not be that at all, but that's the speculation. And
The average family is just getting beat down, slaughtered with their health insurance. Number one, it costs up to $1,000 a month for two people to have health insurance. Now, if you throw in kids, it's even more. And then you have a massive deductible and this nonsense where you have to keep paying throughout the year until you reach your deductible. And these prices hurt the average American financially, and it will take years and years to recover, Joe, for people that live, paycheck to paycheck, that aren't putting a lot of money away.
I wish I could claim some expertise. I can't, but I hear these horror stories about coverage was denied.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that against the law? I mean, if you've got a policy and it says we cover this and you go in for that, don't they have to pay for it?
No.
Well, why don't they?
Exactly. Exactly. I don't have the answer, but we should spend a lot more time talking about this. It's really hurting American families.
Trump will fix this. I'm not being facetious. It's the kind of thing he'll say, well, bleep this. Here's what you're going to do. Maybe he can get it fixed. Who knows? This is amazing to me. If you've got an insurance, if my house burns down, my insurance is going to kick in and pay for a house.
Wait, are you trying to suggest that insurance companies might not be trustworthy?
I told you Friday or Thursday when this came up that I spend 10 minutes a year thinking about insurance.
You're one of the lucky ones,
Well,
Joe.
no, I happen to be trustworthy. If I have car insurance and there's an accident, I trust the insurance company will pay for it. And they have in the past. And if I don't think I've ever exercised a home insurance claim. So I don't know
Really?
about that. Yeah. I don't I've never had to.
Well, bless you.
Right, I'm
You're
lucky, I guess.
You're
Yeah.
lucky, yeah.
I don't live in a floodplain.
We've had to. You can do it with hail damage on your roof and your siding. Any basement flooding you might receive just from heavy rains.
I cleaned up the basement myself in June of 2014. We had a rain of the century. It was the only time our house ever got water in it.
That would have been something you could have turned into insurance. Now,
But it didn't hurt anything. It fell onto it. It seeped in on a cement floor.
That you think it didn't hurt anything. You didn't have any. Did you have a contractor in there to look at things?
I did.
Okay. All right. Well, you did the smart thing by handling it yourself because then your premiums stay low.
Well, by handling it myself meant that I took my super heavy duty shop vac.
That's fine.
And sopped up the water, took it
Right.
outside, dumped it out, came back down, did it again 50 times,
And if
I
you
got the water out.
If you have the right kind of insurance, they would have had to pay you to pay a company to do that.
Well,
but you did the smart thing.
Did you ever have a hose left on incident?
Not that I'm aware of.
Maybe that was Pat.
But the health insurance thing, Joe, that's what's killing families. That's where all the anger is coming from. You nailed it when you said coverage denied.
Health is a great luck then, isn't it? It's a great it's a
sure
great
is.
fortune. The way I mitigated that once in a lifetime rain, by the way, is landscaping.
Right. That's usually the answer.
And the insurance had nothing to do with that. I just brought in my guy and we said, let's do this and this and this. And it was very reasonable. And, well, we're getting off the track. There are people cheering the murderer. There are people cheering this guy.
I'm anti that.
Wondering if he's going to become the next D.B. Cooper in folklore. It seems to me law enforcement knows so much about this guy and has so much evidence. It's not plausible to me that they either have him right this minute, this is the guy, or if this isn't the guy, they'll have the guy shortly. It's not plausible to me that this guy can get away with this. There's too much known, too many pictures.
Right.
Too many bus terminals with video cameras, too many. It's not plausible to me that he can get away with this.
Do you think this murder and then the startling reaction to this murder will finally bring to light the plight that so many Americans are facing with their health insurance? Do you think this will change things?
Yes.
How
For
so?
sure, it's gonna
Because this country has never had a conversation like it's having right now because of this murder.
Where does the change start? Do we have to go to the government? Do we have to go to Trump? Or will insurance companies open their eyes and say, wait a minute?
We've had a good ride. We better level this off because it's affecting not just this poor CEO, but the entire country. They are aware of it, but they've had their. I'm just looking away because it's working.
Here's
for them.
the assumption you guys are making, though. Per Kenny's point, you guys are making the assumption that insurance companies give a damn. They don't.
This
They
might
care
force
about
their
their
hand.
bottom. They care about their bottom line, and that's it. And that's why there is outrage, like Kenny was speaking about.
That's my feeling. I agree with Reavers and Joe. I don't think this will change a thing.
Well, I guess the only counsel I would have is if you're buying health insurance, aren't you grilling the hell out of the person you're buying it from?
No, you don't get that.
You don't have an option.
Once a year, the company that you work for comes to you and says, here's the options. And if you're poor, you take the one that costs the least, which gives you the least amount of benefits, which has the highest deductible, and you hope like hell you don't have to go to the hospital.
And this isn't placing blame on any employer per se. This is just what we have departments of people that are constantly scouring for the best possible choice for their employees.
And go ask the employers too. The employers they hate it just as much as the employees do.
Yep.
You know, we're all screwed.
One thing I found interesting is that although there have been kind words said about this fellow Thompson, there has been an absence of. Let me start over. His he wasn't the CEO. He was a CEO of the health.
United Health Group.
Whatever. But that company has an overall CEO.
Okay.
And he spoke out on behalf of Thompson, said he was a good guy. But you're not finding people lining up to say, in other words, they're a bit trapped. They can't, if in fact Thompson was an expert at saving the company money, and he may very well have been an expert and very good at what he did, which was to not make a lot of payments. Am I on the right track? Then his superiors, to face the public, have very little to say. They can't come out to the public and say, "Oh, are we going to miss this guy? We just love this guy. He saved us more money than anybody ever seen." They can't go that route.
Right.
They
Right.
can't admit to the American public that this guy was the best in the game, man. He could deny a claim faster than. And I don't know that about the guy. I'm saying that the sense I'm getting is they're a little bit between a rock and a hard place on what they're trying to say about the guy.
As they should be. And I'm not blaming the guy for their policies. It's just the guy at the top takes the heat. You know how that works.
Yeah, you would think, again, I said this the other day, you would think the decisions that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith down the block, they got denied on a surgery for their child.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't they be dealing exclusively with somebody in a cubicle somewhere?
Yes.
You're not necessarily going to the CEO's office every time something like this happens.
He's never seen a claim.
The other thing I heard is most people. I wish I could verify this to make it more factual. Most people apparently are too accepting of the denials.
We don't have any choice.
Fight.
We can't.
Most people don't fight.
We're working 8-10 hours a day. We don't have time for that.
Well, then there needs to be extraordinary revisions.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary
Start over.
revisions.
Absolutely.
United Health Group Incorporated is an American multinational health insurance and services company based in Minnetonka, selling insurance products under United Healthcare, which is, I believe, what Brian was the CEO of, and healthcare services under the Optum brand. It's the world's 9th largest company by revenue and the largest healthcare company by revenue.
I have no reason to be ill speaking of this fellow. I don't know a thing about him. So that's why I've been careful. And for all I know, he was a hell of a guy.
Joe, this is why you hear people saying, well, at least in Canada they have free health care.
Yeah.
Which is, is that government health care? I know from trying to join Minnesota's health care program that's a nightmare and not worth the time and effort.
He was the CEO of the insurance division.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying in regards to health insurance, we need to.
We're gonna turn the page.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
We
God.
need to do something. My wife has a job just for insurance. The health insurance comes out of her paycheck, and then she makes enough to pay our car insurance and buy groceries.
Has she ever had to use her health insurance?
Yeah, Joe, I'm paying $200.15 every month until a year from now that I started paying on January 1st to pay off my hospital visits last January.
That's not what I asked. Has she ever had to use her health insurance?
Yes. We both.
Have they paid?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh.
They pay, but the deductible is so high that it's taking me 2 years at $200 a month to pay it off.
So what you're paying, they paid the doctor and they paid for the Tylenol and everything else, but you're now trying to winnow down your deductible.
Correct. And that's how it is for her, and that's how it is for our dental and for our eyeballs.
Joe, it's to the point, too, where there's many people out there, I know them personally, that have just decided, I can't afford it.
Yep.
And they're just going without it.
Yep.
In fact, there was a point in my life, I would say between the ages of 23 to about 30, where I didn't have health insurance.
I know people who are just, you would call it self-insured. If they break their leg, they're going to go to the doctor and get the bill for it.
And then pay it off for the next 5 years.
Well, the people I'm talking about are just write a check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
The other problem with that, though, is if you have a catastrophic thing happen, that's it.
Right.
You're screwed for the rest of your life.
you can spend $200,000 in 3 days in the hospital,
I don't
or
doubt
3
any of that.
hours.
And the guy I'm talking about has got a lot of money. I mean, obviously he can do it, but the rest of us can't do it that way. You can't.
Talking about me again?
John, I can't imagine what your heart surgery, for example, cost.
It was about 110 total.
Yeah,
Luckily, insurance covered most of it.
Yeah.
I had
But without
better
insurance,
yeah.
you're
Without insurance, you would be dead.
yeah.
You know what? I just realized another irony here, Joe. When I had my heart stuff, I was working for Hubbard as a full-time employee. I had way better insurance. And what I just realized is the coverage, my health insurance, the price goes up every year and the coverage goes down. It gets worse every year.
The other point I wanted to make when you guys were talking about people working just for insurance, my wife, you guys know where she works. There are people over the age of 60 who continue to work there at part-time because they have part-time benefits for that reason until they're 70 years old. That's the only reason. They don't need the money. They don't care about the job. They just work there so that their benefits are paid. That's the only reason.
And, when you said Trump will fix this, you were being facetious, right?
Not entirely.
I don't think he will. I don't think he understands what Americans are going through with health insurance.
No, he's not. He's not sitting down at the average kitchen table in this country. I'm sure he does not. No. What do you think? Do you think Biden knows?
No, but you know what? You
Obama,
are right
or-
about Trump. He's a money guy, and if he did sit down at somebody's kitchen table and showed him the dollar figures, he would know then. He would understand, and he probably would do good for us.
So I think what you're trying to say
I hope.
And that is why Trump got elected.
Well,
Wow,
Could
spot
be.
on.
let's hope. I don't know.
I'm going to read this. It's a fantastic email. I'm not going to read it now. I'm going to read it after John's news.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I want to tell you, though.
What are you going to tell me?
Well, the center of the American experiment is on top of everything. I just told you most recently they're breaking down the budget catastrophe that Minnesota faces. I see Walz has been granting interviews saying he just can't understand why the American people rejected him. I can understand, Tim. It really isn't that complicated.
And that is why Trump got elected.
I mean, you couldn't have been more of a screwball if Hollywood tried to invent you, and nobody bought your act.
But his quote, you guys all saw it. It's directly why they are so freaking out of touch with everyday Americans.
I read, I happen to like a guy named John Cass, Kass. He was a longtime Chicago Tribune. And then because papers have diminished and everything, he went out on his own, has his own website, his own Substack. He writes his own columns. And Sanibel Gin sent me a great John Cass column over the weekend, and it was dead on. The Democratic Party cannot reinvent itself until they distance themselves from Obama. And by that he means Obama is at the center of everything they're doing. The DEI, the keeping the racial industry alive. They don't even realize that black voters aren't buying their BS anymore. They're stuck on a time loop. And it was very unkind to Obama, which I thought was highly deserved. I think Obama had every chance in the world to do much work to make this a post-racial nation and did not, because that's where his bread is buttered. And now he's become a multimillionaire with his multiple mansions and stuff. But I happen to agree. The Democratic Party cannot reinvent itself until they scrap this woke BS and this DEI BS and critical thinking, critical race thinking BS. And that means Obama's got to go. They can't pay attention to him anymore. It was Obama who engineered Kamala Harris's appearance. He's not the answer. I know many people love him, but he's not the answer. And I have no interest in the Democratic Party reinventing itself, but if they want to, I happen to be among those who believe you're going to have to do it without Obama.
So let's look at the other party then. Is the Republican Party now and forevermore the party of Trump?
Depends how the 4 years plays out. If it's a catastrophe, the Republicans too will have to understand that they have to reinvent themselves. Their Obama would be Trump. They'll have to reinvent themselves without Trump. He's got to go. Finally, he would have to go. If these 4 years turn into marvelous success for the United States, I would imagine a bit of Trumpism would then be present for the long stretch in the Republican Party.
I would hope to bring civility back to both parties.
Yeah. Yeah, there ain't any now.
Seems like it.
No. Anyway, I was talking about the center of the American experiment.
59-60.
Well,
Yeah, I thought you were doing a spot, but I wasn't sure.
I didn't realize that. I'm sorry.
I veered away from it.
Well, I'm sorry.
The winner of the Turkey of the Year award was the new state flag. A guy sent me a picture out in Apple Valley of an American flag, an Apple Valley flag, and the new state flag all flying together. And even the new state flag was shredded. So they must be getting it from China. Wall's probably cut a deal to get with his Chinese friends to make the new American flag because they're falling apart already. But the center of the American experiment is where you want to go every day and check their website and also check for their events and their breaking stories. They're doing the news that the conventional news gatherers in the Twin Cities are not doing. It's one word, AmericanExperiment.org.
the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
So I've been talking for a couple of years now about my friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to take it easy. And if you've been thinking about it, if you've maybe been on the fence about whether you wanted to make a switch to that new water treatment system, I'm telling you right now, now is the time. Why is that, Rook? Because it's the holiday season.
'Tis the season.
And you
We
can
know
save
this.
15% off or more this holiday season on a brand new water treatment system courtesy of Hofferman Water and Connecticut. But here's step number one. Number one, you got to get on the schedule to have them come out for that free water analysis today. So do me a favor. Give them a call directly.
What's number two?
At 612-895-2440 or HoffermanWater.com. That's the website. You can book your appointment any one of the two ways. And if you go on their website, you can see every single system that they have to offer at their website. It doesn't matter whether you're in the market for a water treatment system that's a water softener, an iron, rust, and odor filtration system, or a brand new drinking water system. A new system from Connecticut can do so many things that other water softeners just simply cannot do. So get on the schedule. 612-895-2440 or visit HoffermanWater.com.
Okay. All right.
What?
Joe had a good point. What is number two?
I said one of two ways, didn't I?
No, you got a plan, and you gave us point
Number one.
Yeah, you gave us
Okay,
number
one was get on the schedule.
Maybe number two was calling them to
two
get on
was
the schedule.
calling them or
What's
the
number
website.
three?
Yeah,
Number
you got number
three.
three.
Is there a fourth one?
Number three. Make fun of Jim when you call them, but you can also. But please do me a favor. Mention that you heard about him on the Garage Logic podcast.
There you go. That's
Hofferman
number
Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years, Mr. Mayor.
John Haidt, there's a lot of news breaking in the old Gumption County, isn't there?
There is, Joe. First, let me tell you that this news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. The first breaking story, it involves the shooting of Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare executive. Man is being held right now on gun charges and for questioning in connection with the killing of Thompson, according to the New York Police Department. The man being questioned identified as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. The police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, making that announcement at a news briefing this afternoon. Mangione was detained in a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after an employee recognized him and called authorities at about 9:15 this morning. So far, Mangione's only known connection to Pennsylvania is that he went to college there, according to the chief. The photo of the police released of the suspect showing his face was the key in capturing Mangione, according to police. The gun that he had on him had the ability to fire a 9mm bullet, may have been made with a 3D printer, according to police. Mangione was in possession of a ghost gun and a silencer when he was there. He was eating at McDonald's when an employee recognized him. Police are questioning him, and they have asked police from New York City to come down. They will be talking to him if they are not already there.
I think it's an example of how profoundly widespread the story is that a McDonald's employee recognized the guy.
Well, and you know what I was thinking? He was safer staying in New York.
Yeah.
As opposed to leaving the state, because they couldn't find him there, but he was found in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. The other story, let me see, what did I do with that just came across? The U.S. Marine veteran accused of killing another passenger on a New York City subway after he became violent and was threatening people has been acquitted of charges.
Good.
Daniel Penny was charged with negligent homicide and manslaughter in the May 2023 chokehold death of Jordan Neely. Neely was homeless, allegedly began screaming he was hungry and thirsty, ready to die, wasn't afraid of going to prison, he said, and was accused of making threats toward other passengers. Other passengers said they feared Neely and what he might do, adding he was approaching people and throwing garbage at them. Penny came at Neely from behind, putting him in a chokehold, and held him there until the train came to a stop at the next station. Other passengers held Neely down until police got there. The jury found Penny not guilty of negligent homicide after he was acquitted of the top charge of manslaughter last week when the jury could not reach a verdict. Earlier reports say Neely had an extensive criminal record, including 42 arrests on charges, including petty larceny, jumping subway turnstiles, theft, and 3 unprovoked assaults on women in the subway between 2019 and 2021.
The charges it was a Londrigan case. The charges should never have been brought about, but these Soros DAs are going to die trying to ruin this country.
And there have been several protests. I've been monitoring this. There's a family member of, is it Jordan Neely?
Jordan Neely.
Jordan Neely. Basically, here's her quote. I was going to play it, but
Is
it's
Jordan Neely the victim?
correct. But it's so violent, I don't want to give it. But here's the quote that I think, just to give you a glimpse as to where these people are at mentally.
Right.
Here's her quote. I believe she's a cousin of Jordan Neely. She's also a member of BLM. These wonderful white people, I hope they celebrate their Christmas while the Neely family is praying and asking God for comfort. GD them and GD America.
Well, two things. She wants a payday, and well, I guess one thing. She has.
What are you
to
doing,
get
an ad for Reavers?
She wants a payday.
Hi, Joe Souchere
I only
here
had
for
one
Chris
thing.
Reavers.
I had one thing.
Right.
I thought I had two. I had one.
Right.
Well, so they're blaming everybody else but themselves for taking care of their own relative like they should, like family members
Well,
should,
that's
right?
the second thing. You just reminded me.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Kenny.
There we
go.
The
So there
second
is
thing
two.
I had is, where were you, lady?
Yeah.
And 3.
Why weren't you helping this guy?
If you guys all saw the
I
video.
did many times.
How many people did this guy save from this psychopath?
Quite a few.
Right.
You know,
Was it, excuse me, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
John, was it a lethal chokehold?
It proved to be.
Yeah, he died.
He died.
He didn't die in his arms,
That I don't know.
from what I've read. He passed away after the police got there. Did he not?
Penny
or am I
was,
just
Penny was
nitpicking?
merely trying to just subdue him, right? Just to get him to.
Right.
I don't
I'm
think
not
he was
accusing
trying
him.
to kill him, right?
Okay.
You know, the truth is, and everybody would admit this if they could be truthful, he's the guy you want every time you get on the subway.
Absolutely.
Yep.
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 Star Tribune reporting a man who was shot a week ago in Minneapolis has died. 39-year-old Martin Horvath of Clear Lake, Minnesota, apparently was trying to break up a fight. He was shot on December 2nd in the 2600 block of Cedar Avenue South, according to the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office. Horvath was hospitalized at HCMC with head and neck wounds and died there Saturday. No arrests have been announced. Police said they went to the scene of the shooting at 10:45 in the evening on December 2nd and saw Horvath there with critical wounds. Preliminary information indicated he was trying to break up a physical altercation between two people he knew. When a shot was fired, the shot hit him. The other two fled the scene before officers got there. Officers gave immediate medical attention to Horvath until emergency medical personnel took him to HCMC. Again, nobody yet has been arrested in that case. An unlicensed driver fleeing a late-night traffic stop in St. Paul hit a vehicle parked outside a church and killed its lone occupant, according to officials. The wreck happened Sunday night at 1669 Arcade Street near Larpenteur Avenue, according to the State Patrol. That is the address for the Gustavus Adolphus Lutheran Church. The fleeing motorist, 28-year-old Lorenzo Leonteri Washington of Minneapolis, was arrested after a taser was used to assist law enforcement, according to Patrol Lieutenant Mike Lee. Washington was driving without a license, according to a State Department of Public Safety spokesperson. In October 2014, Washington had been sentenced after being convicted at trial of aiding and abetting attempted second-degree murder in connection with a shooting in Minneapolis. In August 2023, he was sentenced after pleading guilty to being a felon in possession of a gun in Woodbury. Washington left prison May 29, 2024, and has been on intensive supervised release since then. According to Patrol, this whole incident started at 11:15 p.m. A state trooper stopping a car on Interstate 94 on suspicion of speeding. Washington stopped briefly but soon sped away. He was chased briefly. The pursuit quit at ground level, and a patrol helicopter followed Washington till he crashed into a car parked in the parking lot. Ramsey County Sheriff's deputy apprehended him. He was booked into jail early this morning. State Fair manages to stay in the news, don't they?
All the time.
Freaking
Yes.
December.
Might I say, 'tis the season?
Just the season, that's correct. They've made their first concert announcement for next year's fair.
And they drag these out. You get them about every 6 weeks.
Melissa Etheridge and Indigo Girls are pairing up for a 48-city trek next summer that will land at the fairgrounds August 24th. That's the first Sunday of the fair's 12-day run. Tickets priced $56 to $124 will go on sale this Thursday at 10 a.m. at etix.com. Dubbed the Yes We Are Tour, it's a continuation of dates Etheridge and the Indigo Girls began playing together this past the summer.
I think one of my brothers.
Oh, that's my question for you. This was going to be my question.
One of my brothers went to the to an Indigo Girls concert. I think it was at Canterbury Downs,
Yeah.
And he was the only guy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only male there.
The only male.
You know, it's funny. I was also at that, but I
kidding.
was working because I worked for that station that put that concert on, and he's
I
probably
think you
right.
watched. I think
And
watched.
you and his brother are the only two that use razors.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't even get that.
we'll have to explain
think
it
about
to you.
it, Joe. Think about it.
But you know what? His brother and I had options.
Yep.
Well, not
Well, I
really.
went to
Not
see
really.
what the hell's his name?
Options. Give me a break.
I can't think of his name.
Zero options.
What are you thinking about?
A
thinking
really
about,
great
Joe?
singer. If John said it, I'd know it. He's the son of a famous singer. He's gay. as the-
Jacob.
No, he's
Rufus.
I
Rufus
saw-
Wainwright.
Me and one of my kids went to see Rufus. I was the only guy there. I didn't know. I had no idea.
What do you mean?
I love Rufus Wainwright.
Was that the song about the old ladies that live in the Grey Gardens?
Yes.
Grey Gardens,
Okay.
yeah.
Great tune.
Yeah. He's got a great voice, incredible voice.
But I should have known when he started talking about the leaves and how pretty they were.
Wait. You didn't know he was gay when you went?
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Which is
so
fine.
you didn't know
Nothing
anything
wrong
you
with
didn't know
that.
anything
Yes, of
about
course.
him, obviously.
Pardon?
You didn't know anything about him.
Not
obviously,
really.
right?
Just
'Cause
loved
Okay.
his music.
All right.
Is that very obvious? Yeah.
So it was all
Thanks,
gay
John.
dudes in the audience.
I guess.
Did even
Oh, I said
one
I
of-
was the only guy there. Maybe I was the only straight guy there.
How many people? Where was it at?
One of the theaters on Hennepin. It was
So,
packed.
a couple thousand.
It was wonderful. It was great.
Did even one of those gay guys give you the up and down?
Right.
Not a single
How you
one.
doing?
Well,
But you're
okay,
even
then.
invisible there?
Yep.
See. At
Not
least
a
when
single one.
At least when
We
I
love
used to
you
go
long
to
time.
I used to go to gay bars to see bands. At least one or two of them would
No.
give me the old up and down.
No, I didn't even get the up and down.
Or Ken, the best is you head to the saloon,
Yeah,
downtown, and you.
That's what it was. It was the saloon.
Eric wants to buy you a drink. Hell yeah! Let's go.
I'm all in. Come on over here, Eric. Buy me another one. Let's see if we can work something out.
Yeah.
Get me good and drunk.
All I know is Rufus can sing. I'm going to leave it at that.
Rufus
can
can
sing.
sing
Noted.
quite well.
Just so you know, Jim, let's put everything out on the table. I do have my number.
Yeah.
I know what my number is.
Yeah, it's 8 beers.
Right.
That's what your
Yep.
number is.
One other concert announcement. I just happened to see it about 10 minutes ago. James Taylor has announced he'll be stopping here. I believe it was in June. I don't have the details.
So
of
not,
that.
not at the fair.
Just announced. No, James will be at the Excel again.
right.
Excel Energy
To
Center.
show you how much I've aged, I would go to that show.
Oh, I've seen James Taylor. He's wonderful, and
Yeah,
he's got, his
I'd go.
band is one. It's Korchmar, and the whole band is wonderful. Lee Sklar on bass. Just
I'd go see Jackson Brown too.
I've seen
I
him
have
also.
seen him. I
Very
like
good show.
Jackson.
I would like to see both of those artists before it's over.
September 15th, 2002. Concert in the park. Indigo Girls at Canterbury Park.
Was that when it was?
I can't believe I remember the day of that. I think I still have the shirt from that.
Watch this. I actually like a couple of their songs. How you doing,
That doesn't
fellas?
surprise me.
How you
They're
doing,
pretty
fellas?
good.
Yeah, they're musical, Joe. Why wouldn't I like them?
One of the concerts.
Let's move along, shall
One of
we?
the concerts that I'm really happy that I went to was Bob Seger a couple of years
I
ago.
saw Bob on that tour.
That was a great.
Are we just throwing
Yeah,
out concerts
throwing out-
now that we've
let's
loved
do
all our
news, John.
lives?
Let's do news.
I
saw
got
Madonna
I got
at
a
the
whole
Civic
list of them.
Center.
Kenny, remember Tom Waits at was it? Where did we see him at?
2 nights in a row. The happiest
incredible.
2 days of my entire life.
Incredible
Everything's been downhill after those
It
2
really
days.
Johnny
has.
Height with the news.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. Let's go to national and international news. A lot of international stuff over the weekend, and it continues. Syria, of course, the fall of the brutal regime that held on for years, and it fell fast. Its leader, Bashar al-Assad, with the help of Russia and Iran, had run the country, known for its own brutal treatment of its own people and the use of poisonous gas to fight his foes. He fled to Moscow. Looters started raiding the presidential palace, and people took to the streets of Damascus to celebrate his demise. The Syrian president had tried to hang on until the bitter end, sending SOSs out to anyone who would listen, but nobody did. What happens now? Anybody's guess.
Stays in Syria.
Badar El-Saif, an assistant professor at Kuwait University, said chaos is expected in transitions, and so is factional and even bloody competition. The onset of Syria's conflict in 2011 displaced millions of people, sparking a migrant crisis that still reverberates in European politics today. Russia has military bases in Syria. It'll seek to protect those interests, but the Kremlin right now occupied with the war in Ukraine. Iran, which has traded direct attacks with Israel in recent months, is also weakened. Arab officials say they don't expect the Islamic Republic to give up its influence in Syria without a fight. The pace of the events that unseated Assad after more than 50 years of his family being in power was stunning. Just a little over a week ago, his survival seemed almost a foregone conclusion. Then insurgents led by the Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham captured the crucial cities of Aleppo and Hama before closing in on Homs and Damascus, the capital.
In the lead up to his fleeing, many Syrians were trying to leave the country. And as often is the case in that part of the world, they invariably bring the mattress. They got, they got the mattress on the roof of the car.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
the kids
yeah.
are sitting on top of the roof of the car because presumably the inside of the car is full of
The stuff.
clothes. But a mattress.
We
If
gotta
I
have
was
something to
leaving,
sleep on.
If I was leaving, I don't. The mattress wouldn't even occur to me.
Right.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, stuff like
Well,
that.
you know, a couple of hours ago when we were doing show prep, you did have a really brilliant observation about him. He looks at me and says, "Boy, he was a bad guy."
He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
Thanks, Joe.
A garage full of Ferraris and Maseratis.
Yeah, tons of them.
And no place to go.
Yeah, it's a good point. Where
Right.
was he driving
Right.
those?
Right. And then the sand, you'd be like, oh, it got all dusty again. Dang it.
Only one guy does that.
See
Put
this?
this hood down.
See this? This is sand.
Death to you.
It's always going to be sand.
President-elect Trump held his first major interview since the election yesterday. He was on Meet the Press. He said he would try to work with Democrats to find a way to preserve Dreamers' legal status. He said he would not ban abortion medication, fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, or order the prosecutions of political opponents. There were some contradictions not long after promising not to go after foes. He said members of the House Select Committee on January 6th, quote, committed a major crime and they should go to jail. He said he would pardon rioters from the Capitol attack on his first day in office. And echoing Robert F. Kennedy Jr., his choice to run the Department of Health and Human Services, he flirted with the debunked theory that vaccinations are responsible for increasing diagnosis of autism. He also talked about tariffs. During the campaign, he proposed tariffs of 10 to 20% on all imports and 60% on goods from China. He was asked whether he could guarantee Americans won't pay higher prices under those tariffs, and he said, I can't guarantee anything. He noted correctly that his first term did see low inflation, even as he implemented new tariffs, but those tariffs, he said, were on a much smaller scale.
I got a feeling he's BSing people. He's doing deals. It's like if he was going to build a new skyscraper. An Acme contract wanted the bid, he'd say, no, hell, I can get it a lot cheaper from Rosenfeld's concrete down here. You guys aren't even in the running. So they come back with a lowered bid, and he ends up getting what he wants. And he's doing the same thing, only he's doing it with countries. You don't do this. I'm sorry, you're going to be cut off. And I think he's playing games with everybody he deals with, which is fine with me
I
if
would
it
agree
works.
with
Well, what if a country in question does the same thing and makes him show his cards? Then we're going to lose. I know
No,
the farmers
no.
are really worried.
No, because the country behind him is much better than any country he's dealing with. The country behind him is much more powerful than
So
any country.
you're thinking that these countries are going to cave?
Yes.
Boy, I hope you're right, Joe.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in response to the president-elect, Adam Kinzinger says Trump should, in his words, bring it on. In response to those Meet the Press comments on the January 6th committee, the former Illinois congressman, who was one of two Republicans alongside Liz Cheney to serve on the committee, challenged Trump to give him jail time, writing that the president-elect was rewriting history and trying to play the victim. Writing on his Substack newsletter, Kinzinger addressed Trump directly, saying, if Donald wants to pursue this vindictive fantasy, I say bring it on. I'm not intimidated by a man whose actions on January 6th showed a cowardly disregard for democracy and the rule of law, a man too frightened to serve in the military and who requires a strong man like Vladimir Putin to feel secure. On the political front, Lara Trump will step down as co-chair of the Republican National Committee as she considers a number of potential options, with her father-in-law set to return to the White House. Among those possibilities, replacing Florida Senator Marco Rubio, whom Trump tapped to be his next Secretary of State. If Rubio is confirmed, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will choose who takes the seat through the remainder of Rubio's term. She told the Associated Press in an interview, "It is something I would seriously consider. If I'm being completely transparent, I don't know exactly what that would look like, and I certainly want to get all of the information, but yeah, I would 100% consider it." Supreme Court today rejecting an appeal from Wisconsin parents who wanted to challenge a school district's guidance for supporting transgender students. The justices, acting on a case from Eau Claire, left in place an appellate ruling dismissing the parents' lawsuit. 3 justices, Samuel Alito, Brett Kavanaugh, and Clarence Thomas, would have heard the case. That, though, is one short of what would be needed for a full review from the Supreme Court.
Speaking of that, Lee Finke has agreed to join us in studio Thursday. Mm-hmm. I'm very surprised at that. That's more
fantastic.
Power to her, yeah.
Yeah.
10 people injured after a police traffic officer on a motorcycle crashed into bystanders at a weekend holiday parade in Palm Springs, California. All of the injured taken to hospitals for treatment of injuries which were not life-threatening, including the officer. Witnesses told the Desert Sun newspaper the officer was apparently popping a wheelie and suddenly lost control of the motorcycle. The bike slid into the crowd of spectators and brought the festive event to a standstill for more than an hour. Authorities said some emergency responders taking part in the parade helped the injured, including crews on ambulances and fire trucks that were still adorned with their holiday.
Well, as long as nobody got injured, I can say it. When you're in a hot weather place like Palm Springs, you don't need a Christmas parade. Let that be for the snow.
freezing your ass off.
Christmas.
Freezing
They
your
don't
ass
get
off.
Christmas.
They don't get it.
Wait, are they going to have to cancel it then?
Yeah.
We might have to cancel Christmas.
I have been looking and I can't find anywhere that what motorcycle was it? What brand? What model? What CC?
In California, they drive a lot of cowies.
So was it some big full dress pig, or
Well, I'm sure it was.
Was it a crossover bike? What was it? A
Geez,
touring
Kenny,
bike?
I don't know.
Well, I want to know.
Well,
I
then
want to
call
know.
Palm Springs Police
Honda
Department.
Goldwing.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, I want, before you leave,
Yeah.
can I tell you about, I saw some pictures because you talked about celebrating Christmas. My hometown, Mandan, North Dakota.
Yeah.
Main Street is festive.
Oh, good for
Lights
them. I
and
wish
ribbons.
we still had lights here in the Sustainable
We got it
Urban
all.
Core.
You don't even have street lights.
We don't even have. We have no lights.
Right in the middle of right in the middle of Main Street, there's an old depot, old train depot,
boy.
and they have the whole yard set up with Christmas
Cool.
decorations,
That's
and then
neat.
the whole, it's probably, I don't know, 3 mile Main Street is just full of lighting. And
We used to have
trees.
lights in St. Paul
just wonderful.
and Minneapolis.
And copper.
We used to have copper. We used to have street lights. Everything. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny.
Surely.
All right.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Woo-hoo! Me, oh my, it's 39 right now, but we are going to dip. Thursday's high is 10 degrees, and if your furnace is not working properly, you may have a slight emergency. Well, welterheating.com to the rescue with their 24/7 emergency service. I really hope you don't have to use it, because I hope that if you hear a clicking noise or something doesn't sound right or heat's not coming out, that you will call them immediately before it gets to that where it shuts down. And you can do that. Talk to a human being during business hours at 612-825-6867. You're going to get experience. Yes, 'tis the season of over 100 years of experience. 'Tis the season of 4 generations of Welter family that are working on your heating, cooling unit, air purification system, serving the Twin Cities metro area. And again, for over 100 years and 4 generations, they're garage logicians, certified techs, will get you up and running in no time before the temperature hits 32 degrees again. WelterHeating.com. This winter, heat up your shelter with the fine folks from Ray N. Welter.
We have often discussed the fate of our political class and how the voters have put into office these Democratic Socialists of America who do not seem qualified to handle it. By the way,
Yeah.
I went through George Floyd Square. What day?
Saturday. Because you did a dry run.
Oh, Saturday. And it's just as bad as it was 5 years ago. Nothing's changed. And that's an example of how they can't get much done.
Right.
Wonderful email from Ted in Maiden Rock. He's emailed us before. It's either Ted Guth or Guth. I really think he has some sharp thoughts here. Joe, after listening to Friday's podcast, I had the urge to send you this email in regards to the members of the Minneapolis City Council. I have come to the determination that these individuals are conducting themselves as elected lobbyists. When I was a student at the U of M, I had the opportunity to work at the Minnesota State Capitol for a legislative session. I ran the office of a member of the House of Representatives from a rural district. I met with lobbyists on a daily basis. When they entered the office to meet you, they only had one thing on their mind. The lobbyists representing union electrical contractors wanted more lighting on the new highway bridge project. The concrete pavement lobbyist wanted concrete pavement instead of the specified asphalt in the proposed DOT rest area construction. The Automobile Dealers Association lobbyist wanted reduced title and transfer fees. You get the picture. These lobbyists were put in place by their constituents, trade association members, to have a laser focus on one specific objective. With a great degree of reluctance, I want to praise those DFL elected officials who served as mayor and council from post-World War II into the 2000s. In retrospect, they skillfully led the city of Minneapolis and presented the residents and visitors a wonderful city that everyone could be a part of. Much as a circus juggler can keep 10 balls in the air without dropping one, these past elected officials could juggle all the important and meaningful matters, keeping all the balls in the air, giving each one the care and concern and importance they deserved, never dropping a ball on the floor. Individually and collectively, the past mayors and council members had the various skills, experience, familiarity, education, and background to perform this difficult juggling act. Most of these past elected officials were lifelong residents of the city. Most were educated in the city. Most had private sector jobs in the city. Some of these meaningful matters, the balls in the air, were schools, essential services, fire and police, infrastructure, parks and recreation, promotion of business and industry, protection of natural resources, budgets, etc. With a great amount of skill, the past mayors and council members kept all these balls in the air. Today we see council members sitting at their chairs. They have just one ball bouncing up and down in the palm of their hand. Each ball is a unique and specific social crusade they have championed. Yes, the Minneapolis voters have elected lobbyists to the positions of mayor and council. These current elected officials do not possess the skills nor the desire to keep the all-important balls in the air. P.S. To the Minneapolis council members whose sole purpose is to eradicate all white capitalism in Minneapolis, congratulations. You won. Take your victory lap. The business exodus is in full swing. Boy, I think he just hits home there. I just think that hits home something fierce. These council members have no breadth of experience on anything,
Right.
but they do represent their specific social objectives. Cesar Chavez, for example. What's his name? Hugo Chavez?
You keep besmirching Cesar Chavez's name. I wish you'd stop.
What's
doing
his
that.
name?
Jason.
Jason Chavez. You know,
Him you can besmirch.
who wants to continue to punish people who make money by now creating a labor board that would involve the city in determining how companies could
You're right.
could behave.
That was
vetoed,
vetoed, though. Yeah, thank
fortunately.
goodness. Yeah.
But that's a great example of what this fellow's talking about. I think it's right on the money. It's just right. These are not experienced people. They may not even have backgrounds in the city, nor were they educated in the city, nor do they have a stake in the city, nor have they ever worked in the city. It's
Is there somebody on the council you'd like to talk to about that?
How about Caesar?
No, I was actually thinking.
Caesar's dead.
I was thinking about all the topics we could cover if we had Andrea on.
I'd talk to Andrea in a heartbeat.
I
Sure.
think it would be a really interesting conversation. Some things we might agree on. A lot of them we're going to disagree, but I think it would be a rousing discussion.
Please extend the invitation. Only because they come to us
The 10th?
all the way from Cleveland, the current residents of the Traveling Lymans. Once again, Minnesota failed miserably
Well, it's probably cold, you know.
to do much on this day
On December
in history. It's truly amazing how we backed off.
But who arrived by steamboat at the fort?
I don't even know if Fort Snelling
Well, you know,
made it
you guys
here.
know how it works. About December 7th, everyone starts to shudder down for
Right,
holiday
yeah.
mode.
It is the
I
season.
mean, you can't find a person in this building for the next 3 weeks.
Well, on this day
December 9th.
in 1890, the University Avenue streetcar line from Minneapolis to St. Paul began operating.
Necessary. That was needed.
Much like 100 some years later, you had the Green Line began operating.
Not as much.
I think I did. The one that crossed this morning when I pulled in did have 2 people on it.
Oh, it did.
So that was nice.
Got it. Well, sales are up.
No idea if they were getting off the train at any
Did they
point.
pay?
May I continue?
Please continue by all means.
And finally, on this day
On December 9th.
in 1935, so just think back, it was the middle of the Depression. It was December 9th,
Okay.
back in 1935.
Okay. 1935. Right in the smack in the middle of the Depression.
Tabloid editor Walter W. Liggett was killed by machine gun fire at his Minneapolis home. The crusading reporter, Liggett had ties with right and left wingers, was accused of blackmail, and was an opponent of Governor Floyd B. Olson. Gangster Kid Can, whose real name, of course, was Isidore Blumenfeld. Kid Can was tried for the crime, but miraculously enough, my words, not found guilty.
Wonder why.
These must have been some hell-raising times back here in the 30s.
I
huh?
think so.
That's when they
there
had
were no
Christmas.
rules.
That's when they had Christmas lights across the city
Right.
too. You know, back in the 30s.
Eventually, the gangsters wore out their welcome in St. Paul,
Yes, they did.
which was for a long time a vacation spot.
Well, you
as
know
long
why
as
they wore out their welcome? They broke
because
the
they
rules.
started doing crimes in St. Paul.
You guys can hang out here, but you don't do a damn thing while you're here.
Right.
I was steeped in that as a youth because it was always pointed out to me where all the gangsters lived. They had
Oh,
a
yeah,
place in Matamidi. There was a big dance hall in White Bear where they hung out.
And the houses, both in St. Paul and in Minneapolis. I've done the tour.
You know where the big dance hall in White Bear was for the gangsters? It was called the Plantation. And it was right now, if you picture Kowalski's Supermarket
I
on
can see it, yes.
on the west shore of White Bear Lake.
Yep.
Now just go down to the lakefront, and the Plantation would have been right there.
Right there off the water.
Yep.
What's there now?
There's a little bar there. The name of it escapes me.
Is that the VFW?
No, the VFW would be north of that. The name of it escapes me. A nice little joint there on the water.
I've been there. I can't
And
remember.
then also there was a place there for many, many years called Amundsen's Boat Works. And that might have coexisted with the Plantation, but the Plantation is long gone. Now, on the site of Kowalski's, if you can picture that supermarket on the west shore of the lake, there's a little mall there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Kowalski's anchors it. That was the big clubhouse of the, what was it called? The Automobile Association? So I guess it was a big deal back in the 20s and 30s. If you owned a car, you had this clubhouse to go to, if you remember. And it was a destination. If you were going to drive out from St. Paul, you'd be going out to the country, and there would be this big clubhouse.
Well, that's
I think
So you
it's-
get half in the bag and drive back.
I think
you
the
know.
restaurant is Aqua.
No,
ACQUA.
it's not. It's not. It's not.
Back
On
when
the water.
this
I know,
was a
but
free
it's not
country.
Aqua. Aqua's a different restaurant, Matt. Yes, Kenny?
Back when this was a free country, you could get shit-faced and drive home.
Yep. Not that I'm recommending that.
No.
It's probably not a good move. Say, two other things of note over the weekend. Didn't happen locally, but both Pearl Harbor and John Lennon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very aware of that. December
Saturday.
8th, 1980 was John Lennon,
Yep.
and I still can hear Howard Cosell breaking in on Monday Night Football.
Patriots, Dolphins?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Casa Lupita, tacos and burritos.
Matt, that's not it.
Well, the problem is this is your fault. You said restaurant, and you know how he works.
Yeah, but it is his fault to blurt out the wrong things.
Carbonis.
Who here has been to the Dakota in New York City, Upper West Side?
No, I have not.
Just me?
I have. Not
Okay.
inside it, but I've stood there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Applebee's.
the Plantation was gorgeous.
Rudy's Red Eye down on 61 by the
You're
McDonald's.
getting farther away.
I'm getting closer to Chateau Gay.
You're in Hugo.
Yeah.
God.
I'm looking at pictures of the Plantation, Joe. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask a question without me? I'm not trying to be funny.
No,
Could
I'm
you
going to get
a-
this damn name
Could you
now.
get away with naming something that now?
Well, I was going to say, I wonder what that was referring to. I have no idea what that meant.
Did you know that KSTP Radio had a music broadcast for a half hour from the Plantation 5 days a week?
Doesn't surprise me.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yep.
Here, we're not leaving till I get to
Cup and
straighten out
cone.
everything rookie
Cup
said.
and Cone on
You know-
Maryland and Dale.
No.
Reavers, I thought that was a dumb question, but now that I think about it, it is 2024,
Right.
and I wonder.
I bet you couldn't do that these days.
I don't know.
No, you know what's at the Plantation now is Lions Park. That's what it is.
Lions Park.
Yeah, you try to tell people.
Admiral
False.
D's.
Admiral D's, I love it. I've been there.
Hey,
Why couldn't you find
I couldn't
Admiral
remember the
D's
name.
on there? I found it in 10
hey,
seconds.
Admiral, look at D's.
Yeah. You see these? These nuts.
He's what?
These nuts.
Thank you, GLers.
Thank you, GLers.
Thank you.
Hey, GLers, how about this? You have all responded to the brand new Gumption County
Where the hell
gift
were
shop.
you even looking?
He was looking in Hugo.
I got sidetracked by the Carbonis.
Yeah, the Gumption County gift shop, it's off to a rousing start. So thanks to all of you GLers that have placed your order for Christmas. And guess what? Here's the deal. There's probably still time. So go online right now. Go to garagelogic.com. We've got the #1 in Anguilla shirt, the Boatworks, the classic GL shirt, Failed Academy, Kenny's hat that he's wearing right now, Spoon Lake, the Royce Souchere 2024 shirt, which, by the way, is my favorite from this past state fair, Nag Hardware and Lounge. It's all there for you, but all you got to do is go to garagelogic.com And don't forget to subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Yeah, Garage Logic is a YouTube channel.
'Tis the season.
And the show is there for you each and every single day, starting at about noon.
I'm like,
And you can also follow us
where
on
is
all of
it?
our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And thanks once again to Stephen C.
and thank you to Admiral Double D's.
Stacy says